It happened on a quiet Sunday morning in March 2025, the kind of morning where America was just waking up, coffee brewing in kitchens, soft jazz playing in the background, and CBS Sunday Morning airing like it had for decades as a slow, polished, comfortable. But this time, the calm didn't last. Jennifer Lopez, at 55, was the guest everyone had tuned in to see. She was there to promote her upcoming Netflix series Second Act, Empire, a bold drama in which she played a Latina mogul navigating the cutthroat tech industry. It was edgy, political, and personal, everything Lopez herself had become in the last few years. Across from her sat Tony Dokoupil, thoughtful, cool, known for asking tough but respectful questions. But even he seemed to underestimate just how real the next 30 minutes would become. The segment began pleasantly, B-roll of Lopez arriving at the studio, her smiling in rehearsal, clips of her new show. But when the cameras cut back to the sit-down interview, the tone shifted fast. Tony leaned in slightly and said, "Jennifer, you've had an incredible run in music, film, buzziness, but in the past year, some have questioned whether your recent projects, including Second Act, Empire, are more about sending a political message than entertaining audiences." Jennifer gave a small smile. "Tony, I've spent 30 years in this business. I've been underestimated, hypersexualized, dismissed, and told I'm too urban or too mainstream. So if I choose to tell stories about power, about women like me building empires, it's not politics, it's reality." Tony nodded but pushed further. "But critics say you've become increasingly combative in interviews, less open to critique, that you're more focused on controlling your image than engaging in honest conversation." The room got quiet. Jennifer sat up straighter, eyes narrowing just slightly. "Let me ask you something, Tony. When a man controls his image, he's strategic. When a woman does it, she's called difficult. Why do you think that is?" Tony shifted. "It's not about gender. It's about transparency with the audience." "No," Lopez cut in, calm but sharp. "It's always about gender, and race, and power. I've sat in interviews like this for decades, and every time a woman of color asserts her control, suddenly it's too much." Tony tried to redirect. "I'm not trying to make this personal." "But it is personal," she said. "When you imply that I'm combative, that's coded language. You would never use that word for, say, Tom Cruise, or Leonardo DiCaprio." The studio crew was silent. You could feel the tension thickening. Tony took a deep breath. "Jennifer, we're just trying to have a respectful dialogue." She nodded slowly. "Then respect what I'm saying. You're questioning my right to tell the truth the way I see it. That's not dialogue. That's subtle censorship." At that moment, the producers in the booth began whispering. The segment was spiraling, and CBS wasn't used to unscripted confrontation on a Sunday morning. Tony, trying to regain control, pivoted. "Let's talk about your legacy. Do you think Second Act, Empire is how you want to be remembered?" Jennifer didn't flinch. "I want to be remembered for speaking up, for refusing to play the polite version of myself, for being a woman who didn't let media define her." Then, she took off her mic. "I agreed to an interview, not an interrogation." With that, Jennifer Lopez stood up, smoothed her jacket, and walked off the set to live, uncut, unfiltered. Tony sat frozen. The studio faded to an awkward B-roll of New York street scenes. The interview was over. The damage had been done. What followed was a media explosion. Headlines erupted. Jennifer Lopez walks off CBS interview. J.Lo accuses Tony Dokoupil of gender bias. CBS scrambles after Lopez clash goes viral. Clips of the interview went viral within minutes. Fans praised Lopez for standing her ground. Critics accused her of overreacting. Think pieces flooded social media. Is J.Lo the last woman in Hollywood who refuses to be nice? CBS issued a soft statement. "We value open dialogue and regret any discomfort caused during today's segment." Tony didn't speak publicly, but sources from inside CBS said he was rattled by how quickly the interview had unraveled. Meanwhile, Lopez stayed silent for 3 days. Then she posted a single message to her 300 million followers. "I won't shrink myself to fit the space I'm allowed. Not anymore." The post got 10 million likes in 24 hours. Netflix immediately bumped up the release date of Second Act, Empire. The trailer, which highlighted Lopez delivering a fiery boardroom monologue, became the #1 trending video on YouTube. But more importantly, the interview sparked a bigger conversation about who gets to ask the questions, and who gets to walk away when the answers aren't respected. Inside media circles, CBS Sunday Morning faced internal pressure to rethink its interview approach. Producers began consulting new cultural advisors. Behind the scenes, a quiet shift began, not because of a ratings crash, but because a moment of truth had slipped through the controlled airwaves and audiences had noticed. It wasn't just about Jennifer Lopez or Tony Dokoupil. It was about what happens when the script is broken, and a woman dares to speak without asking for permission. And on that morning, under the lights of a show known for softness, a storm walked in wearing heels and walked out with her dignity intact. This is Luxary Auto One, a broken bar where stories are told without filters, and voices rise even when the mics are dropped. Subscribe for more true stories that disrupt the silence.